Hi, this is Casey Passon with Culinary Gatherings, and actually I'm in Colorado today. I'm here skiing and enjoying the wonderful mountains, and I'm still cooking. So I wanted to share a great recipe with you that it's kind of one of my go-to winter recipes. It's delicious. It's called pasta carbonara. You all probably have heard of it, but I learned this one in Italy, and I have a few tricks that are definitely different from what you might know at home. So my family's coming over in about an hour, and I'm gonna get the sauce started. So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in one of my pans. In my other pans, I don't need to put anything because it's gonna have a lot of bacon. So I have double batch going on today. Usually I just make 1 pound of spaghetti or linguine for this, but since I have about 10 people coming and they're gonna be hungry, we all ski today, I'm going straight for 2 pounds of pasta. And I want to saute basically a little bit of garlic with some onions, and I'm going to let that stew down. I'm going to add the onions actually kind of right now. Hear that sizzle? So this is 1 full onion, and this is about 7 cloves of garlic. Now when I do it regularly, I do a half an onion and 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. And then I usually choose thick cut bacon because I like when the bacon, as you can see there's a ton of fat on bacon, but the fat renders down and the little lardoons, which is just a long strip of bacon, stay nice and crisp in this great recipe. So my pan has already gotten hot, and I'm putting it in here, and it is going to slowly cook. And I probably would say it's going to slowly cook for about 15 minutes. And what you're going to want to look for is the white part is not going to be white anymore because it's going to be greasy like fat, which is good because that's going to make part of our sauce. And the other part is going to be crispy. And I like to get it dark and not burnt, but dark caramelized looking, because then when you eat it with the pasta, it's crunchy and crispy and smoky and delicious. Right at the end, this is kind of a pasta that comes together right at the end. So I'm making this now. When everyone gets over, I'm going to scramble some eggs with fresh Parmesan cheese. That is the trick. And then I'm going to boil my pasta, and the eggs and the cheese are going to make the sauce, and then I have one special trick that I'm going to add to it. Stay tuned. Hello, so everything is set and ready to go. While you were gone, I've caramelized the whole onion with the garlic, so it looks really like there's not much there, but there's a ton of flavor because we've cooked it down and just got all the juices there. And then this is the bacon. As you saw before, there was a ton of it, and when you render off all the fat, it's really just the crispy, crunchy, delicious pieces that are left. So I'm going to put this in the same pan as the onions. I'm using a slotted spoon here because I don't want all that fat in with the pasta. I have basically already cooked down all the pasta. So this is spaghetti. You can do this with linguine. You could do this with whatever kind of pasta you want. But classically it's spaghetti. So I've cooked it and strained it, and I put a little olive oil on it. And the last thing is really to make the sauce. So carbonara is not about a hot sauce. It's actually an egg sauce. So raw eggs is the key ingredient. And I have let these sit out for about an hour to come to room temperature. And that's important because when you mix the eggs with the Parmesan cheese, which is really the sauce, you don't want it to be freezing cold. It's going right on the finished product. So I'm going to basically whisk this together. I'm going to put, this is 8 ounces of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to put 3/4 of it in with the eggs. And in Italy I learned that this is the biggest trick, is to add the eggs and the Parmesan cheese together, because it makes the sauce smoother and creamier this way instead of adding them separate. So you have the warm pasta, we have the bacon, I have onions and garlic. This smells incredible. And the last thing I'm going to do is add the eggs and Parmesan to this. I use 3 eggs. for 2 pounds of pasta. So if you're making 1 pound of pasta or less, use 1 to 2 eggs. And it looks like the most simple pasta ever, because it really is, but the flavor is out of control delicious. So as you mix it, you're going to mix it for, you know, a minute or two, because we want the eggs to kind of coat the pasta. And the important thing is that you don't want to do this over the stovetop, because if you do it over the stovetop, the eggs cook, and you don't want curdled eggs in your sauce. So this makes it creamy and delicious. I'm going to add a little bit of the bacon fat here for flavor, because obviously we're not really watching calories with this one. We're going for flavor. And I always like to season with salt, but for this recipe, since we have a ton of bacon in it, which is naturally salty, I'm going to put a lot of fresh black pepper in here. So I'm going to grind it, put it in, and toss it. It smells amazing. It's exactly what I want to eat after a long day of skiing. And here's my secret ingredient, fresh arugula. It keeps it light, and this fresh arugula has a little bit of a peppery flavor, which is really nice to cut the saltiness of the bacon and the creaminess of the eggs. So for 1 pound, I usually use a handful. This is about 2 handfuls of arugula. I'm going to finish with some fresh Parmesan over the top. I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt. And I've done this before, so you can see I'm not measuring completely, and I'm going to mix it all together. And this is the most authentic and delicious carbonara you can get. So make it at home. This is a perfect time of year to enjoy this with your family, your friends, yourself, and I recommend a glass of red wine with it. Enjoy.